everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of my podcast. Can't say Flagler County because Miss Lana here is not from Flagler County, but that is okay because Lana is a good friend of me and my family's, and I'm really excited to share her story with you guys. I think this is a story that a lot of people will resonate with. I know I certainly resonated with it, so I'll let her tell it. But I just want to say again, Lana, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Macy, for giving me the opportunity to come on and tell my story. I am so excited to be here today.
Yeah, well, thank you again for coming on. I'll let Lana kind of explain what she does, but basically, what she helps people with is she helps people with crafting their authentic story and helping them not only tell it, but tell it in the most effective way. So, I'll let her tell the story of how she got into it. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, it all began about 3 years ago when I was leading a leadership presentation on Zoom and I completely froze. We're talking, my chest was beating, I had sweat dripping down my face, and I could barely get the words out. Pure panic. I remember that to this day. And at that point, I decided stepping away from leadership, stepping away from public speaking because it just wasn't for me. And then about a year later, I was introduced to a speaking club. And all of a sudden, I could stand up in front of rooms again and present. It was like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. And I had confidence that wasn't there in the past. But then something else really turbo boosted my understanding of communication and everything else. And this is when I found out about the science of communication. The interesting thing with the science of communication is all of a sudden I was seeing things like, here's what the audience heard. Here are 5 questions the audience may have about your speech or presentation. Here are your filler words. Here is your hand movements. Yes, you're looking at the camera, but you're looked away so much percent. And at that point, it was, oh my gosh, I can record speeches whenever I want to. I can get this immediate feedback. And guess what? It's for everyone. So, what I really wanted to just get excited about is really helping everyone understand that they each have their true, authentic voice, right? Everyone does. And one of the things that my company, Elevate Authentically, works on is helping everyone master the art and science of communication. Communication is an art. We all use it. It doesn't matter if we're with our friends, our family, our work, we're always communicating. And everyone has opportunities to join the same speaking club that I joined. It's only $10 a month. How amazing is it that you could join a speaking club and get that confidence and then all of a sudden understand I'm great at speaking in front of others. When I found out that 75% of the population is afraid of public speaking, I knew I had to do something. And that's why I created my company to really help everyone understand I've been there. I know what it's like. And I don't want anyone to feel the same way I did. And if they do feel that way today, to help them understand how can they be clear, concise, and impactful in their presentation. You don't have to worry about the filler words. You don't have to worry about doing any of those crazy things. The audience wants to hear from you. Are you authentic? Are you giving them that feeling that you're coming across a camera and you're in their living room? You're in their Zoom room. I mean, you're literally in their office. And that's what I want everyone to understand. If you can get to that level, it's just so much more impactful for everyone.
Yeah. There's so many ways, so many things that you brought up that I would love to touch on. I loved what you were talking about with the science behind it, right? When it comes to what did the audience hear? I mean, especially when we live in our own story, right? And we try to explain it, sometimes we can't give it the most effectively because we know all this background context, right? I was a figure skater for 15 years. I could tell you how to do a jump, but then if you've never even been on the ice, you would not know what that even means. I could say, yeah, start on your right edge, go backwards, go onto your inside edge, and then push up, and then just move your body, and then you'll land on the outside edge, right?
Right.
What does that mean? Lana, do you think you know what that means? And I'm not even saying that like in a mean way, but you don't
I
know what an edge
like
is, like where to start. It doesn't make sense. And that's why we have people like outside voices giving like, hey, Lana, I loved that story, but I don't understand how this part connects to this part. Can you explain that more? And Lana goes, oh, of course. I didn't even think about that. I've known that my whole life. I didn't realize other people didn't know that. That's a really big part of storytelling.
Mhm.
It's not that we have to dumb it down for our audience, but sometimes there's just a little background explanation they need, and sometimes you'll find there's background explanation they don't need. And that's why we have someone like Lana and her expertise and also her tools to help her out. And I love what your company stands for with Elevate Authentically. This
Mhm.
is so self-indulgent. I can't believe she hasn't come up more with the amount of podcast episodes that I did, but I love Taylor Swift, right? I'm a huge Swiftie. I genuinely can't believe she hasn't come up more. I think that just tells how professional I am. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to bring up Taylor Swift at every angle. But I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. And you know, a lot of people get questions of like, why is she so popular right now? Why is she so famous? Why has she stayed so famous for so long? And it always comes back to her songwriting, right? The way
Yes.
that she talks to people makes it feel like she's talking to them, right? I have never met Taylor Swift, but I've listened to all of her songs and I feel like sometimes I'm right there with her writing that song, going through the emotions. And that's what a great speech does, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing that this AI software can do is, let's say you want to get an opinion of someone that you respect. You could send a copy of it to them, and then they can give you their feedback. So as they're playing the video, they'll pause it, put their feedback in, and then it's going to go to the minutes on the recording. For
That's
me,
so helpful. Oh my
this
gosh.
is this is amazing. 27 years in corporate America using Zoom, using Teams. I literally have to stop the recording, check the time, write it down, type my notes, and then email it over and hope that they read it instead of the information being right there for you.
Yeah.
Immediate feedback.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that AI portion. And like you said, understanding what the audience heard. I know what I'm saying. I know what everyone's saying, right? Or,
Right.
I think it's coming across properly, but then did it? And if it didn't hit with the audience, what else could I have done to help them understand what I was trying to say? Or what questions might the audience have after
Mm-hmm.
my speech?
Mm-hmm.
Two very powerful things that all of a sudden you're prepared for when before you may not have had that information.
Exactly. And I want to circle back because I think that it's really easy for people to go on YouTube and go, okay, I've learned it. I'm learning information. I'm good. I can write my own speeches. They'll be award winning now, right? And I'm not saying you can't and you can't self learn from YouTube, right? I've learned so much from YouTube. But the benefit of having a coach, the benefit of having someone like Lana is that she can give you real time feedback and also real person feedback, right? We have the AI tool, but the AI is just a tool, right? It's not you're leading, right? You're not going to go put everything into ChatGPT and like, yeah, this is the proper amount of feedback I need. It's like, no, well, that's ChatGPT is not a person. ChatGPT is pulling things and going, hey, this is what our data has found, but how does the feeling, how does it impact a human being? And that's why you have someone like Lana. Lana, what is it that you love helping people with, especially as they starting out of, what is even a good craft in my speech?
What I love helping them understand is, don't worry about the metrics.
Mm,
Don't worry about the filler words, because the minute you worry that you said the word so or if you've memorized your speech, all of a sudden you've completely forgotten it. And the audience is watching you struggle on stage, and you wouldn't want that. So it's much more important to be forgiving of yourself and understand that the audience wants the true, authentic Macy, Lana. This is who they want to hear from. They don't want to hear from some polished version that they're not going to be able to connect with. Once they're able to understand that perfection does not exist,
right.
trust me, I've been there. I attempted to have perfection, and there was a time I had no filler words in my speech. What was I doing? How was I doing it? I was literally reading the speech every single meeting. And I wasn't looking at the audience. I wasn't gauging their reactions or emojis or anything else that was coming up. I was just reading my speech, and you literally saw my eyes go back and forth. It was not the most effective way. But then my executive board challenged me to do a speech without recording it. And Macy, I said, I can't. I
Right.
have to have it written, right? Because that's what I've always done. And then all of a sudden, I did it.
Mhm.
And I haven't written a speech since.
Wow.
And the reason is because all of a sudden now I can speak from my heart and I can explain what I know, what my passion is, why it's so important that everyone has this ability to communicate effectively and really get their point across. Whether it's helping them understand what is their mission, what is their purpose, why are they here, to creating something fun in Canva, to even helping them deliver any speech that they're looking for. I'm excited to help everyone really focus on all of these amazing options and find out who they truly can be when they unlock mastering the art and science of communication.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned is a great reason as to why someone should have a coach, especially when they're starting out. Even when you're good, even when you have mastered so much, you still
Mhm.
need that coach, right? Like I've played sports, I've been a figure skater for 15 years. My brother's on the track and field team and cross country team.
Mhm.
If you told either one of us, like, oh, don't worry, you don't need a coach. You're good, Macy. You've skated for 10 years, you don't need a coach. Like, are you crazy? That's insane. I could never not have a coach. Um, is that everything is so unique, right? Like for you, you used to write out every speech and now you don't anymore, right? For
Right.
me, I always play between them of like, okay, well, I need to make sure I write this out because otherwise I know myself, I'll squirrel off. If I squirrel off during a presented and a timed speech, does that really help anyone? No, sometimes I need to write it out and I need to memorize it. Other times, like I just at our local BNI, I was giving my 7-minute presentation. I didn't practice any of that. But it still did great because I knew what I was talking about. I had the bullet points. I'm like, okay, I know what the essence, I know what the objection is, and I know I need to keep tying it back to that. And so I knew that. So it is one of those like, that's why how you'd have someone like Lana, like, hey Lana, this is the speech I have to give. This is what it's about. How do you think I should go around it? How can you best help prepare me? And I think that's really important. So thank you, Lana, so much for already sharing so much amazing information. And I think there's a lot of things that people hear and they go, yeah, I should definitely learn a little bit more. You also are doing something really cool, really new. I want to give you that chance to kind of talk a little bit about it. So you're also doing a podcast. Why don't you share a little bit about what it's about and then how people can learn more about where to listen, but also if they're interested in maybe being a guest on it as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Macy. I am so excited to introduce my podcast. It's called Mastering the Mic, Speaking for Sales. And the guest that I'm looking for is really anyone that's looking for visibility for their company, whatever they do, whether they're coaching or anything else out there. The way that you're going to attract clients is by getting in front of them. And if you're able to do a podcast, they're able to see you interacting with the host, they're going to trust you. They're going to trust that the host would have had you on, you're vetted, this is someone that they can trust, reach out to, and possibly even build a great connection with. So I am looking forward to having 100 people on my podcast. We'll see how quickly I can get there.
Very soon, for sure.
Very, very soon. And really helping them understand how great it is to be a guest and be able to tell your story and not feel like it's forced or rushed or anything else, right? I mean, we're all in this space. And if we can understand who we're speaking with, why their story is important to them, and how they can help the world, why wouldn't we want to promote everyone?
Hmm.
That's what I'm going to be doing on the podcast. And I can't wait. I will have a Calendly link that Macy can put on the
Hmm.
video, so
Definitely.
I'll definitely share that with everyone, and then I'll look for some guests. I can't wait to see what everyone has to say and understand this is this is about them. It's
Hmm.
about the guest. It's not about the host.
Right.
The host is great. The host is the one that's leading all the questions and letting everything happen, but really the focus is on the guest. And so I
Right.
can't wait to meet all the guests and really have a great time.
Yeah.
Who knows, Macy, I may even pull you on my
I would
podcast.
love that. That would be so much fun. It's so fun when I get to be on the other side of it, and it's not something I have to constantly think about, like, "Oh, what time is it? What are we doing? What's going on?" When all of these go out of the window and I let other people lead me, it's fun for a change. Well, Lana, thank you so much for going on. I will definitely have the link to her Calendly and to learn more about the podcast in the description. I would definitely recommend going to check out Lana's channel, subscribing, giving a view. As she said, visibility is really important. And definitely apply to be a guest, it never hurts to at least put yourself in the ring, and you may think, "Do I even have anything to contribute?" You do. And if you don't know how to best craft that, then that's why you would talk to Lana first and see how you can get that around. So, Lana, thank you so much for the time today. I really, really appreciate you coming on. You're sharing a lot of great information, especially about something that I think a lot of people really resonate with, right? You don't have to be standing in front of rooms of people every single day to present, to learn and want to learn and grow your communication, right? It is just as important for me to, as a podcast host, to be
Mhm.
able to engage a single person as it is to stand in front of a room of 80 people at BNI and engage them, right? All of these are such universal skills. So I'll make sure I have all of Lana's information in the description. Definitely check her out. I mean, what she said is the host definitely vets them, and I can definitely vet and vouch for Lana. She's a great person that I've gotten to know over the past, I want to say, month and a half. It's not even been that long, but we've built an amazing connection so far. So thank you again, Lana, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Macy. I truly appreciate the opportunity to share my story and be on your podcast.
Of
So,
course.
I appreciate it.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. And to everyone listening, thank you so much. I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time.